Welcome to this interview for the Society of Sports Therapists. I'm Emily Goss, and today I'm joined with Maria Westwell, a new member of the communications group for the Society of Sports Therapy. Maria, please tell me what your day-to-day work involves.
Hi Emily, firstly I just want to say thank you for inviting me on tonight. It's lovely to see you and meet you face to face. So my day-to-day work involves working at my clinic in biomechanics based in Bolton. It's a busy private healthcare clinic. We treat a wide range of people from the general public. We're lucky enough to treat a lot of the sporting population, from sort of amateur to professionals, ranges of sports, athletics, triathlon, a lot of boxers and MMA athletes, and we also treat your sort of day-to-day normal people with pathologies such as arthritic knees that are awaiting joint replacement surgery. So it's really good to get that sort of variety of people through the doors, and just to sort of be able to help that wide variety of patients, really.
So what made you choose sports therapy for your undergraduate degree?
Well, I didn't actually choose it for my undergraduate, strangely. I think I always knew I wanted to do that type of profession, but I just I went down the sports science route first. So I did my BSc in sports science at Edge Hill University. And it gave me a good sort of feel of all the individual subjects, so the biomechanics, physiology, psychology, and give me sort of, I suppose, a bit of a taster of what I really did enjoy doing. And that sort of, I suppose, solidified that I did want to go on and further study sports therapy. And then I suppose it was, which route do I go down? So I was going to go and do another BSc. And it was actually one of my friends who I studied with. He suggested doing the MSc route at UCLan. So it was kind of adapted for that sort of conversion from a sort of science background. And then it allowed you to a bit of a sort of a top up intense master's 2 years. And that's the way I qualified as a sports therapist. So I kind of, like I say, I always knew I wanted to do it. But I think I went the long way around it, but I'm kind of have no regrets with that too.
What skills from your sports therapy degree do you use in your day-to-day work?
Everything really. It's kind of that degree. If I hadn't have done that degree, I wouldn't be able to do what I do today. A large chunk of that was obviously the sort of hands-on and what you do in a clinical setting, in a sporting setting. So it's everything from that sort of the science side, the strength and conditioning side, the manual hands-on side, that sort of therapeutic care, that health professional sort of skills that we use, and just how to be a sports therapist as a profession. So I definitely utilise, all my skills of that degree day to day.
What would you say has been a highlight of your career to date?
Well, I feel like I'm really lucky to have had the career I have, and if I look back, sometimes I can't believe aspects of it. So it's kind of, sometimes you think, how was I even able to do that? But I would say when I was working with Wigan Warriors Rugby League team, I was lucky enough to work with them, what ended up being just over 7 years, working with the first team. And I suppose that itself was a highlight, but we got to achieve some really sort of important trophies, and it was brilliant. I'd probably say it was the grand final at Old Trafford. I'd kind of always been around it, but it was this particular year that I was deemed a crucial part of being there on the day for that final. And it was just everything from, we stayed over the night before, getting in on the coach on the way there. We got like police escorted. It was all a little bit surreal, really. We got to the stadium and you could sort of hear the noise, and everything was, everyone had this sort of buzz around them and this intense sort of atmosphere. And it was when we walked out onto the pitch, and it literally hit me, and I looked around and I thought, this is like a sellout stadium. Everyone was just, the atmosphere was just incredible. And I thought, I'm here with them. This is literally all over the television, all in the media. And this is such a big game for us, but you're sort of in that close-knit environment of, you're a part of that team. You're there to do what you need to do. You need to be there to win. which we luckily did. And even that was just totally overwhelming. It was like one of those that you look back and you think, was I really part of that? And you have to like look at the photographs to believe that you were there. But I'd probably say that was definitely the icing on the cake. And that was my final season with them too. So it was a really good high to go out on and just sort of remember that, really.
Yeah, definitely. Are you able to talk about any key moments or specific things you have done that have been instrumental in your career?
I wouldn't say one particular thing or experience. I definitely would say it's the sort of overall sort of graft that you have to put in. I feel that obviously you've got to have that education behind you. You've got to have those qualifications. You've got to do all that to become insured, to become regulated, to have that sort of respect. But I would definitely say it's getting that sort of experience, wide range of experience, that networking with all the different sort of settings, so the private healthcare settings, sports settings, and just really utilize that sort of whatever opportunity you get, whether you think it's minor or major, you treat that the same. You sort of speak to everyone you can there, you do whatever they want. You know, you've got to put in the hard work, a lot of free work, you know, not just a week here and there. You've got to just do whatever you can, and you've got to be grateful because these professionals are taking time out of their busy careers and work lives to let you be there and to look at that, to soak that up. And you really, I feel that doing all of that, I just sort of was like, yes, anything. I was literally yes to anything. Like, I'll do that. I'll mop the floor. I'll put a plaster on, even if I've got a master's. Like, I'm just glad to put a plaster on someone because it's something. You know, I just really feel that you've got to never be too big for your boots and just put yourself out there, gain as much experience as you can, and never be sort of, you know, you've got to ask questions, you've got to see yourself be seen, be heard, etc. And I'd probably say that's the biggest thing, and I'd always recommend that to students that I see now or I help now. I've said you've just got to, you can't just send one email and just think, oh, I heard nothing back and that's it. You've got to be like knocking on the doors of people and asking and showing them that I want to help you, as much as I can sort of gain a lot of experience and, you know, knowledge from yourselves. I want to do anything that I can to help you.
Yeah, definitely. What is your next CPD you'll be engaging with to enhance your sports therapy knowledge and skill base?
There's quite a few areas that I'm sort of interested in, I suppose. I suppose you may specialise in certain areas, but I suppose with that is more what you as an individual sort of are interested in more yourself. So there's a few areas, this sort of the biomechanics and the runners biomechanics, that I'm really sort of still really want to advance on that, and just to gain that sort of extra knowledge of all the different professionals that sort of teach courses on that. There's a few sort of stuff following my own sort of pregnancy and postpartum stuff, all the sort of, there's some more specific stuff related to that. Like I did an extra sort of women's health course just to get a little bit more, I suppose, in-depth knowledge on that. And just knee, sort of complex knee ACL injuries is something that I've sort of seemed to get on treat a lot of, and it's getting more and more complex. That, you know, I feel like the surgery around like ACL reconstructions is continually changing too, and for some reason I'm just kind of drawn to that too. So I suppose it's just I'm actually, I think I've got one coming up in the next couple of weeks for the sort of latest ACL surgeries too. So I suppose those sort of areas really.
Perfect. So that's the end of the interview. Thank you so much for spending the time to speak to us all about your career today.
Well, thank you, Emily. It's been a pleasure.